Good morning. I'm back again. Today's live went live with no sound, and I don't know how that happened. So I'm going to do it all again. But I've also added in another little thing as well. So we'll do that in a minute. I'll start off with the bags so then I can get them out of the way quickly. Recently, I haven't been on for about 2 weeks because I hurt my leg, and it's been quite difficult to sit on the chair here in the studio. So while I was away, I decided to make a couple of bags that I'd been interested in for a while, and because I was seated a lot more than I normally am, I decided to have a go. So the first one I made was this is called the Ammonite bag, and I put a link to actually both of these and the iguana. Oh, I haven't done the iguana. I'll add the iguana afterwards in the description so you can find them. But this one, I followed a pattern by a lady who'd translated it from Russian, and she was very good at teaching because she went slow enough so that you could understand, and she also repeated herself as you did each part, so that was helpful. She was using like a cord, which I didn't have. So what I did is I had 3 balls of the same cotton, and the cotton was about a 4-ply. I'm not quite sure what that is in the American terminology. I think it's fingering, but I could be wrong. But anyway, I got my my 3 balls, and they were gradient yarns. Well, not gradient, they were like striped. So I matched up the color sequence so I could use all 3 at the same time, and they'd be all the same color at the same time. And that's what I made the bag out of. And it's quite cool because what you do is you make the circles first, and then you're starting on the short side. You start from here and then join the circles up, and you do each row in pairs. But there's different things to do in each section. But it was it was easy to follow as long as you kept the video playing and you stopped, did a bit, stopped, did a bit. The strap, I figured out the strap on my own. I realised I wouldn't be able to have the same joining on both sides because this side you've got the opening, and then the other side is like the curve of the shell. So all I did is on my very last row, I found out where the width of the shell was, and I went up and back, across a little bit, up and back, across a little bit, up and back, and then finished the row off. And then when I came to do the strap, I just picked up 5 stitches across there and did them as long as I possibly could with what was left on the balls, and then just crocheted it into the middle on this side. And I think it works as a little handbag. You could put a purse in there, some keys. It's quite large, and also it's a very dense pattern. So I don't think I'd even need to line this. I am hoping to make another one with t-shirt yarn fairly soon. And make it more of a basket to have in the house. So that's that one, and that was all cotton, by the way, and with a 5mm hook. And then there was this one, which I'd seen a few times, and I thought it was very cute. It's a water bottle holder. Now this one is the smallest size that the lady makes on her YouTube. I've also put the link for this pattern in the description, so it's there if you want to have a go. And I happen to have the exact yarn the lady was using, which made it really good because then mine looked exactly like hers. Once again, she was very easy to follow. Her YouTube's called the Yarn Bowl, and what she does is she gives you it row by row. She repeats what she's doing about 3 times as she does it, but it's also written along the bottom of the screen. So let's see if I can get my finger in the right place. Here we go. So as she's doing it, it's written along the bottom of the screen. So when you pause it, you can still read the words, which is really good. This one's really cute with the tail. If I was selling these, I would probably steam the tail, but as it's for a child, and I probably won't be selling this. I'll probably gift this as a Christmas present. I won't steam this because eventually it'll go all like that anyway, and flop around. But if you wanted to, you could steam the bottom. But yeah, that was quite well. And it uses a form of bean stitch, which is called pebble stitch. And she explains it really well. And once again, it's quite dense. If I can open it so you can see. Quite dense inside, no big holes. So you wouldn't need to line it or anything like that. And it comes out flat. So when the bottle's in it, it looks like that. So the tail tucks up inside. So yeah, that was quite nice. Now, this is an addition from yesterday because yesterday stopped. No sound. I have no idea. I got this a little while ago, not long, and I got it off a D-Stash site, so I can't tell you the original price. But I thought I'd show you because this is a stranded gradient yarn, and it goes from the dark green out to the really, really light lime green, and it's got glitter through it. And I thought it was just gorgeous. Like I said, I got this off a D-Stash site, but I did look this person up and I put a link to her Facebook site. It looks like she's in Germany. It's written as Denmark here, but the words on the the Facebook page say Germany, so I don't know. But anyway, this one, 1,200 meters, and it's a 3-ply. But if you notice, some people have asked, well, what hook do I use? You use what's appropriate for the project you're making, because 2mm to 4mm, that's quite a range. So it really depends on what you're making. On an average, for my tension, I find I use a 3.5. But it really depends what you're making and what your tension is. So this one is 50% acrylic, 50% cotton, plus added glitter. And this looks like it was for a special event. So you may not be able to get this exact one, but she does have other ones on her page. Very nice. So this is her label. I'm assuming it's a she, because everyone I've met called Ria is a lady, but I could be wrong, and I apologize if I'm wrong. Now, it also has, that's your end. It's been tucked in, so you can find it. So I'm not going to pull it now because I don't want the end loose, but if you pull that, that'll be your end. Now, the other thing, people have a lot of trouble keeping the strands together because, as you see, this is not plied. They're all separate. Plied means twisted. They're not twisted together. Actually, if you look close enough, each individual strand of this is plied, other than the glitter, but they're not plied together. So what you do before you start anything, get yourself a bead that is bigger than the thickness of the middle hole is bigger than the thickness of this yarn, and put the bead on the yarn, put the thread through the hole before you start. And what that'll do is it'll keep your threads together, because this has got glitter. Glitter is notorious for causing knots, and that's because the glitter is like a hair shaft. It's got little, well, it's metal basically, but it's got little jagged spots here and there, like your hair shaft is. And as you pull it out, it's rubbing on the other glitter, and it sometimes can cause a snag. So there's that one. I thought it was so pretty that I'd show you. And what I'm hoping to do, seeing as you all seem to like the gradient yarns, which, no, that's no real hardship, I like them too, I will try and show you a gradient yarn with each live until I run out of gradient yarns, but that's not likely because I really like them. So this week it's Little Favourites, and next week, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. Right, so our next thing to do is to do the next part of our iguana. Now, yesterday I did do one. This is our iguana. We need to give him a name. Eddie the iguana. Might work. Yeah. So yesterday I made his foot, and at the end of yesterday, I realised that the foot had 6 toes, and I I said that I was going to check whether he has actually 6 toes. They don't. Iguanas have 5 toes. If you didn't know that, you now do. But anyway, so I took off the last toe last night, but this is what his foot looks like. And I'll make another one in a minute so you can see how I did it. It is the first amigurumi I've come across that has this open loop at the top. I think it's a great idea. The design is great because it makes it easier to sew it on later. And that will go on there like that. Bring him down a bit so you can see. So that open loop becomes his shoulder. Now, other thing I did while I was away is I finished off his tail. I was surprised how long the tail was, but, it's not bad. And I don't know if you've watched the other lives when I started the iguana, I wasn't sure how long I would need for here. And in the end, I only really took a finger width off the end of the wire I put in. And I think I had 10 inches of wire. So he now stands up and he's got one leg. All right. So the other one, everything's tangled up. This is the other iguana. Now, this one is using one size smaller hook. So this is done with a 3mm. This is done with a 2.5. And the difference in size, I just can't get over the difference in size. This one is up to the stage where I put the wire in. I made a skeleton for this one, which is the way I normally do my amigurumi, because I like the legs to be connected to the backbone. This one I'm doing how the pattern says, and I'm supposed to add the tail wire now, which I haven't quite worked out how I'm going to do this because I need to get it far enough in that it's not going to come out the other end, and I need to put a bend in it and all that. But I will work it out, and I will tell you what I did when I do it. So I'm not going to be doing his legs on camera because they are going to be so small, but I just thought I'd show you that that was done. So we will get our yarn. This is how much I have left of this yarn. Not terribly much, but we'll get there. And we need the hook. We have a hook. Yes, that's the hook. I've got a stitch marker. Is there a stitch marker? A pair of scissors. We don't need a stitch marker. We need some stitch thread. That'll do. In a different colour. If you remember, we make our marker thread with a colour that will show up against it. All right. Let's make another leg so that you can see how we do it. So we're starting off, we're making a magic loop. Now, this is how I make my magic loops. Everybody does them different. But the thing is, I was never remembering how to do it until I did it awkwardly. And now this is the way I remember to do it. So I put my finger on there. You don't want to lose that loop. You see how it's twisted over that thread? You don't want to lose that loop. And we pull that through to lock it. Now, you can put your magic loop down now. And you pick it up and you go, oh, which way was I going? The way you were going, if you can see the little V there? Right? So that means the right side is facing you. If you can see a little V, that's the right side. So this thread, you're going to be working over this twist of thread. That's how you know you're going the right way. Right, so first thing, it says to do the same 3 rounds as you did for the head. Now, on round 1 of the head, also this little stitch we've done here to secure the magic loop doesn't count. You don't count that as part of your stitches. So we are doing 8 DCs. Now this is an English pattern. I think I've said this before. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 DCs or single crochets if you are English American terminology. So now we pull our thread. Try not to get our stitches twisted. Come on. let's pull, there we go. Alright, so we've pulled that tight. Now count back, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Are we sure? 2, 4, 6, 8. Right, so we are working in a spiral. So the first thing I want to do, now I thought I'd show you how I do a donkey knot. Now donkey knot to me is a knot that's at the end of my thread. So we got the end, around and around, and then roll it off your finger. Rub your fingers together to roll it off. And you see how it's pulled up? And then you just pull it like that, and it's made a knot right at the end of my thread. And that's my stitch thread to mark the beginning of each row. So we put that in here, and then we get this stitch. Because this is worked in a spiral, the first stitch, actually no, that's not going to put in the right, oh, yes it will, yes it will. So that is the first DC of the next row. So we flip that through. See how my knot's on the inside? We flip our green bit through, and I can pick it up, and under that, there we go. Right, so that's the first one done. First row is done. Round 2. 1 DC, 2 in the next stitch. 1, 2. And we do that all the way around? Yes, we do. So 1, 1, 2. Now, if you've noticed, when I make a stitch, the second one, the one that we pull everything through, I don't pull it away from what I'm working on. I don't pull it up high. What I do is pull this through and bring the second one over the top. So the first stitch becomes nearly straight up and down, whereas the next one comes across to it. Means you have less holes. Alright, so just make sure we're in the right place. 2, 1, 2. Alright, so we need a 1 now. This will be our third one. 1 and then 2. Pull that down, pull that down. 1 and then 2. 1. Oh, hang on. Hello, Ganny Staffy? Ganna Staffy? Hello? I just saw it. I'm sorry. I got to wear glasses to see what I'm doing. Got to wear glasses to see what I'm doing, which makes the words a bit blurry. But I did notice something there. Yes. Hello. Hello. I can see you. That's exciting. You're the first person that's talked to me. How do I crochet so fast? Well, I've been doing it a while. And also, I made this one yesterday, so I actually know what I'm doing this time. I didn't have any sound yesterday, so I had to redo it today, so I'm glad I did. I would have missed you otherwise. I better go to the next one, so I keep going. I hope you're having a good day. It's, what is it? What's the time? It is 8 o'clock in the morning here, so on a Sunday. Okay, so 2 now. The next one, we do 2 single. Oh, that's right. Got to do that. Getting distracted. There it is. Bring that over. Got to bring that over. What's happened to this? Oh, I see what's happened. I put that on the wrong stitch. That should be on this stitch here. So we will just get the... Alright, there we go. Made a little mistake of where I placed it last time. I put it after the stitch, right? This is causing me so much trouble. I think I may have to reseat that because it's in the wrong spot. Let's just take that out. That's what's so good about this way to do it. Let's break our donkey knot again. 1, 2, and roll it off your finger. Use your fingernail and go like that. Then it's right at the end. Okay. Let's double check that we've done the right thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so my next stitch is my first stitch of this row. Put our it goes in there where we finish the stitch, and then pull it through. Has it done it? No, I've still done it wrong. What's wrong with me today? It is easy to do this from a bit further up, but I can't find a stitch marker at the moment, so we're doing it this way. Anyway, that's the first stitch of our third row. Like I said, this is repeating his nose. So the first three rows on his nose is what we do for the beginning of the feet. Now, like I said, I forgot to put this link to this pattern in the description. I will do that when I'm finished so that you can carry along. All right, so third row. So we do 2 DCs. Now, I had someone ask me the other day, how do I know which side of my crochet is right? Once again, you've got to look for the little V's. Can you see the little V's? I'll go this, that's upside down. Try that way. See the little V's? If you can see them, you're on the right side. It's the same with knitting. So that's our first 2 stitches. And then we do 2 in the next. So in there, out, and then like that. 1 and 2. And then another 2 stitches. 1 and 2. We're going in both loops, both of the V's. 1 and 2. All right, let's spread that out so you can see. 1 and 2. Make sure that was right. Yes, it is. 1 and 2. And then that's, yep, so then we do the last one, which is 1 and 2. I'm also trying to slow down so you can see what I'm doing. And keep it in frame so you can also see what I'm doing. And 2. Right, so that's our third row done. The next stitch is our beginning stitch, so we know we haven't missed anything. Now, another thing that you can do, I pull this big. See, with these lives, I'm not teaching you this pattern. I'm teaching you the hints that I've learnt to do amigurumis with. Another thing you can do which helps with your amigurumis is to pull your magic ring as tight as you possibly can. Do a little overhand knot, which is just that. Pinch with your fingernail right there and bring the knot right down so that it sits right down on the top of the magic ring, which will keep your magic ring closed for you while you work. Because amigurumi, you've got to do it so tightly, you sometimes catch this string and pull your magic knot too loose. So if you just do that little overhand knot, it can't pull through. Pull it down as close as you can, take your time doing it, and then it won't pull your work apart as you go. Another little tip I've learnt. Okay, put our hook back in, pull the string down so it's nice and tight. So we've done the first 3 rows. So now we go back to the leg and we do, all right, okay, this one. This was the one that stumped me a bit yesterday. Move this over. We do, I know what I'm doing now. Maybe yesterday wasn't so bad. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then we pinch it across. We skip 8 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're skipping 8. So we go to the next stitch, which is directly across. So I'm going to put my thumbnail there so I know which one it is, and then flip it this way. This took me a bit to get this yesterday. I think what I'll have to do, pull that a bit tighter. Yep. And put it in there. So we're pinching it. What are we making? Like a taco shape? Looks a bit like a taco. And then like that. Pull that down nice and tight and do the next stitch. Now we should have 1, 2, 3. Looks like we're right. Cool. I didn't do that yesterday. Yesterday was wrong. 2, 3, and 4. You can see why I'm not going to do the really small one on camera because I have to get it so close to my face to see what I'm doing. So that's the shape we've made. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull them out the other way because we're going to keep working this way. So let's get that one. All right. So that's the magic cord thread, and that's the donkey knot. So I'm just pulling them through there so they're out my way. All right. So that's connected. That's done that little bit there. You see? That's what we just did. So now we've got to carry on down here. So the next stage is, all right, we've got 3 rows of doing just the 8 stitches we've got now. So we flip our string. This is our marker string. Back out. And we do 3 rows. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Making sure as this gets smaller, it's too easy to catch the stitches on the other side. So make sure you only get the 2. That's 4. And then this one's number 5. And then 6. And then 7. Make sure you only go through 2. 7. And 8. Right, so that's the first one. Slip the green thread back through so we know where we are. 1. Pull that tight so it's not going to get in the way. Going too high, I'm sorry. 2, 3, 4, 5, You see what's happened? We've got some of this on here. So I'm going to get that off. 5, 6, 7, 8. Flip the thread back out again, and we need to do one more around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Right, so that's how, what are we, upper arm? And then we flip that back through, ready to start the next one. What I generally do is I put the hook through there so it keeps the thread out the way. Okay. All right, so the next bit. 2 DCs, so that's 1 and 2. And then they want us to do a decrease. Now, if you remember from before, an amigurumi decrease is only in the front loops. The plainest one. There are other decreases. So that's 1 decrease. And then it wants us to do it again. Hang on. We need to do 2 stitches and then do it again. So that's 1, 2, and then this one needs to be a decrease. So only through the front loops, and then this one only through the front loops. There we go. And then done. So now we do DC in each stitch around. So put the thread through. So we've lost 2 stitches. We had 8, so we should have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're back at our stitch. Right, so we've done that. So now it says to flatten and do 3 stitches evenly across. So to do that, we need to go 1. So we're going through and then to the back. So it's a little bit difficult to do, but what we're doing is closing off the bottom of the leg. And then the last one, wiggle it through and then out. Okay, so that, you see the V's have closed off the end of the leg. What we can do now is to pull out our green marker so we can reuse it again on the next leg and make the toes. So we chain 1. Chain 1, turn, 2 DC in the first one, 1, 2, 1 DC in the next one. Try and bring it up closer because they're so small. And then 2 in the next one. 1, 2. All right, so we've gone down to 3 stitches, and then we've gone up to 5. Right, so chain 4. And it did say on the pattern to turn, but the thing is, it'll make no difference if I turn and chain or chain and turn, because it's doing it on the same stitch. 2, 3, and 4. Bring this down so I can see. So we've got the 4. Now we turn this a little bit, and we want to DC into the second chain from the hook. Now, that was another thing I was going to say. How do I know 2 chains from the hook? You don't count what's on the hook. You count, that's 1, that's 2. So 2 is the one we go into. So we do that, and then we slip stitch the next 2. 1 and 2. And then slip stitch into the first stitch right here. So because we've turned it over, we're going into the back of the stitch and slip stitch. And there is our first finger. See the first finger? So that's the bump is your DC, the rest are slip stitches. So we've done that one. Now we chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. DC into the second chain from the hook. Where are we? Chain 5, DC, the second chain from the hook. Slip stitch into the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then we slip stitch into the next stitch, and we now have 2 fingers. Now we do chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once again, we find the second chain from the hook and DC in it, and then we slip stitch back 2, 3, and 4, and then slip stitch into the next stitch from that row. So we now have 3 fingers. So we've done the 6, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're making all the fingers the same way, it's just the lengths are different. And so 1, 2, and 3, and then we slip stitch to the base. So now there's 4 fingers. So that was that one. Done that. Now we do 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch into the second chain from the hook. Slip stitch and slip stitch. And that puts us into the last stitch that we did across the end of the arm. And that gives us 5 little fingers. So like what was it? First one was 4, then it was 5, then it was 6, then it was 5, then it was 4. And they're rounding off out the side. So now we do one, this is what I do. I do 2 chain stitches and then cut off. Like that. So that's our little hand. I will weave that in later, and that matches up with yesterday's hand. Now looking at this, is it going to focus? I'll bring them right up. Looking at this, they both go the same way, which to me means that they're from one side of the body. Now, I would say they go like that. So when he's walking along, I'd say they'd be on this side of the body so that he can walk along with his fingers outwards, which means I will have to do on the other side the fingers in reverse, as in I will have to turn the whole hand over and do right back to the end. No, the first row of the toes, I'll have to do them on the back side of the arm. So I have to do them with that facing up. These have been doing it with the shoulder facing up. But to get the fingers going the right way, I'm going to have to do it with the arm facing up so that then they will go that way and be right for this side of the body. I'll repeat myself when I do it so that you know what I mean, but we want his feet to be going like that on this side. Put him this way. So he's facing me. We want his feet to go this way. Can you see it? I can't. Right. You see how the toes are? We want them going that way on this side of his body. And we want them to go the opposite way. Did I sit it there? It won't sit there. I'll put that underneath. Opposite way on the other side of his body. So we have to turn his hand over so that they go the right way. So that's all I'll do today. We're already nearly an hour long. It was great to see Iguana Safi. I could take my glasses off so I can read it. Yes. Hello to you. I know you're gone, but thank you for coming in. And feel free to ask questions. I can see something's written off. I just have to take my glasses off for crochet so that I can read the screen. But anyway, so that'll do for today, and I will see you. I might be able to see you late Sunday next week. Otherwise, it'll be the week after. I will try for late Sunday next week. And I hope that the rest of your day is great. Bye.